Hello guys, Assalamualaikum, hi dan selamat petang for everyone who joining our lives today. So first thing first, I would like to thank you all because still tuning in our 6th episode of Rambutan Duduk Rumah series. So apa kabar semua? Saya harap kalian sentiasa sehat dan sentiasalah mengamalkan SOP yang ditetapkan terutamanya ketika berada di luar rumah. Okey, sebelum saya mengumumkan tetamu undangan dan topik hari ini, belum terlambat lagi saya ucapkan selamat Hari Raya, selamat Hari Keamatan dan selamat Hari Gawai kepada semua yang menyambut perayaan tersebut. Okay, let me introduce myself first. I'm Lukman, your host for today. And for our today's episode, we have a guest from Kinabalu Coders, iaitu Encik Edham Arif Dawila, President of Kinabalu Coders, also known as KC. Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Hi,
How are you?
Hi, Lukman. Fine, thank you.
So, how's your Raya?
As usual, stay at home, stay safe, mask, sanitizers.
Yeah. So, Raya kali ini sedikit berbeza. Raya berada di rumah ya.
Definitely.
Okay, so for our topic today, we will discuss about robotics, which is how can robotics bring STEM learning to life. So sebelum kita mulakan dengan lebih dalam berkaitan dengan topik ni, mungkin saya akan jelaskan serba sedikit berkaitan dengan STEM learning, STEM education. So STEM ni adalah gabungan ataupun integration in 4 discipline, which is S for science and T for technology, E for engineering, M for mathematics. So STEM ni menggabungkan empat disiplin tersebut dan menggalakkan pengalaman dan memberi peluang kepada pelajar untuk mengaplikasikan dalam dunia sebenar. Lagi-lagi macam dunia sekarang ni kita penuh dengan teknologi yang canggih. Okay, Ed. So sebelum kita mulakan kita punya topik hari ni, mungkin Ed boleh ceritakan serba sedikit berkaitan Kinabalu Coders ataupun KC.
Okay, terlebih dahulu terima kasih ya Rambutan Code kerana sudi invite Kinabalu Coders lah, wakil Kinabalu Coders. So basically nama penuh Kinabalu Coders adalah Persatuan Pengatur Cara dan Pembina ICT Negeri Sabah. So it started back in 2014, where there were a group of us who are coders, who are programmers, software developers, who are working in Kota Kinabalu. Basically we're Sabahans, we're hackers, tinkerers and whatnot. So we just, band together and set up this official persatuan lah under the patronage of Kementerian Pembangunan Sumber Teknologi ketika itulah. KPS kita sekarang ni dikenali sebagai KPINS, KPINS, which is Kementerian Pelajaran dan Inovasi Negeri Sabah lah. So this was back then where we had the support of the we still have the support of KPINS until today. So what happened back then is the state government wanted to help geeks basically to have more technological based programs, more technological based programs and whatnot for Sabah. But that time we don't have any, there were other persatuans, other NGOs as well, but they weren't really up to the standard back then. Okay, so we decided to most of us were already friends in the industry. We've been working for I think more than a decade. Most of us are already here. Some of us are working in the private sector, some of us are freelancers, some of us are working for GLCs and whatnot. So we decided that since the government is already there, and let's up our game and set up this persatuan lah. So long story short, from year one, then the state government offered us this place to set up the maker. At that time, the maker movement was started to Maker Fair, Make Magazine, like all this started to come. And then I happened to be one of the co-founder of what we call Robonio, which is an annual robotics competition for Sabahans. Okay, so it started. KC started alongside with Robonio. Actually, at that time, I volunteered myself with my partners in crime, Cik Julkifli, Awang Besar from Polytechnic Kota Kinabalu, and Cik Disney Live from the Kementerian lah. that time, and I was like representing like the geek community lah. We had our own so-called geek community back then, doing hacking, doing community security stuff. But it was during the open source days. Okay, so I think look, you guys are still young back then, so it started way back. But then we banded together and wanted to set up. We really wanted to bring robotics. Especially when the world has started to change, people are starting to talk about IR 4.0 and whatnot, and then so we decided to, with the finance by the government, let's do a competition. But with the competition comes with the need for a body to handle all this, all this paperwork, basically. So that's where the Persatuan came to be, which is now we are like entering the 6th year since 2014. And our nama, memang we're registered with ROS, Register of Society, but we just shorten our nickname into Kinabalu Coders lah. So essentially for coders lah, to promote coding to the masses, to Sabahan as a way to automate our stuff and increase our livelihood lah through coding lah. Because we all are like computer geeks and nerds and all that. So that's how.
So basically, KC is not about robotics lah.
We are not really about robotics only. Okay, so Kinabalu Coders, we tend to look at ourselves as a sub-community, a payung lah, an umbrella of lots of other smaller communities. We help lah. We help that. So for instance, robotics is just one of it, and then we do IoT, Internet of Things. We also do software. We have Software Thursdays. If you're interested, if you guys are interested, we tonight we have a GC call. Usually we have our weekly meetup on Thursday night, but since PKP, now we have a GC, our own GC call every Thursday for to cater people in the software industry. If they, you just come and join the call and talk about software programming and whatnot. We also have game development. We have a community where we support the game development KK. So out of game dev is being run by our exco, Geoffrey Sin. So he and his team all these years have been grooming game developers coming from Sabah. They've won I think they've won grants from MDEC before. I think they just recently launched Game O2. I'm not so sure because that's what we are. We help all those small geek communities to kickstart and launch, and after that it's up to the community as well. Because we understand that sometimes help from the government needs to go through a body, and going through a commercial entity is a bit harder. So we make it into Persatuan, where it's a NGO non-profit. So all of us, we have our own business, our own life, and our own work, our own career. Yeah, but we give some time to focus on this area. So we've been helping the government, the state government at least, to promote IR 4.0, to promote STEM education, to promote computer programming to schools, robotics, IoT, you name it. We try to help where we can. Okay, so that's basically Casey. Can check us. You can check us. Check out our Facebook page and our social media. Yep.
Okay, Ed, sebelum kita mulakan, boleh cerita seperti yang kamu beritahu tadi, every Thursday ada meetup for all the programmers, right? So selain daripada meetup for every week, ada mungkin boleh kongsikan serba sedikit for the upcoming activities or any events or program yang akan diorganiskan oleh KC?
Okay, we plan a lot for 2020. Kita ada banyak plan, tapi unfortunately, COVID-19 struck us and we had to go to MCO and so before the COVID MCO, sebelum PKP hari itu, memang kami plan, we were assisting 2 schools to join a very large robotic competition in Sarawak. So we are being the tutor and the mentor here in KK to stand Sekolah Menengah Sains dan SMK Bakut. Yeah, it's a school program invited by the government of Sarawak. They subsidize these 2 schools with all the robotic components, whatnot. So KC are the mentors in KK. That one is robotic. And then we were planning to have our few more programs leading up to the middle of the year. Contohnya kita plan untuk buat maybe a small hackathon, tapi kita tak dapat apa lah. And then next upcoming the closest to us will be Sabah Data Fest. It's a Sabah Data Fest 2020. Ini joint venture. Ini adalah joint antara Mampu Sabah, which is a federal agency, Kementerian Pembelajaran Inovasi, KPINS, which is a state agency, and KC as the NGO, and UMS as the ni lah. So it's going to happen on the end of June. Okay, di mana ini actually pertandingan, tetapi dianya terbuka kepada sektor awam, where they will use data from data.gov.my. Okay, data.gov.my, which is open data based on the government, to build their own dashboard. So KC is behind the scene helping Mampu and KPINS and UMS. We are working together to impart knowledge on big data, open data related knowledge, so that the participants can build their own dashboards. And it's a competition actually, inter-agency competition lah. Jadi dia akan bina dashboard berdasarkan data daripada open data daripada data.gov.my. Dan agensi tersebut akan masuk pada pertandingan lah, dan akan dijurikan lah, ada juri dia. So that will be our next big event lah, this month lah, starting this month. Okay.
Wow, that's a big event. So thanks for the sharing for about Kinabalu Coders. So also, okay guys, if you're interested or want to know more about Kinabalu Coders, you can check their website kinabalucoders.org ataupun layari Facebook page mereka iaitu Kinabalu Coders. So also for the viewers, if you guys have any questions regarding our topics for today, feel free to ask in our live comment below. So let's jump our topics for today. So Ed, what do you think about STEM education in Sabah, terutamanya dalam dunia robotik ni?
I'll be honest, I'm a bit proud of our achievement for the past 5 years. Sebab even though kita di Sabah nampak macam ketinggalan, tapi kalau kita deep dive into we manage out of Robonio, the pertandingan Robonio, out of that we managed to create a community of at least a WhatsApp group where we have almost 200 teachers, students, enthusiasts, industry players inside the WhatsApp group, where we always communicate almost daily. Okay, jadi kita ada satu group WhatsApp group that is created because ini adalah participants daripada Robonio lah. And Robonio since year 1 till last year, dah 6 tahun. Kita dah buat 6 tahun. Hopefully tahun ni kita akan ubah sikit, mungkin menuju ke virtual. Jadi daripada pertandingan Robonio tu, acara Robonio yang ada setahun sekali, kita berjaya menarik minat ramai pelajar dalam sekolah menengah, sekolah rendah untuk mencuba bidang robotik, or at least learn about robotik. Okay, so we know that it's a once a year event, but the community, the Sabahans community that come out of the pertandingan, out of the competition itself, I'm very proud to say that a lot of them, some of them, the kids, they grew up, they grew up from the Robonio, they grew up from the Robonio experience, since ada yang dah join dari tingkatan 1 all the way to tingkatan 5 dan pergi ke ambil degree in electronics ke, in software engineering ke apa nak. So that's what our matlamat is lah, our aim and objective. And for STEM education itself, then we've been helping KPS KTM last time and KPINS to promote things like Arduino, Raspberry Pi computing, Python programming, Scratch programming, and a lot of other things with robotics included. We've been promoting since 2014-2015. So I think daripada funding by the state government, we already subsidized like lots of Raspberry Pi. Okay, lots of Raspberry Pis and 1 or 2 schools in Sabah as a whole lah, kita dah tolong. Jadi to say that we are left behind, not really, because a lot of some of these schools has already gotten their punya orang bilang status daripada MDEC to be maker hubs. Like macam kita dah tolong, kita dah tolong membantu jugalah bersama dengan SK Kolombong, SMK Tambunan, SK Anglo Chinese, di mana mereka semua dah bawa STEM education ni lah for the past few years lah. So because how we do is very community oriented lah. Kita jumpa dulu. Yeah.
Okay, so maksudnya macam dulu time saya sekolah lah, robotics ni it's quite interesting things. Tapi sebab memandangkan dulu di Sabah ni, not all schools have that
Yes.
and stuff. So macam mau join robotics antara sekolah-sekolah ni limited. Oh mungkin jadi maksudnya sekarang ni di Sabah dia punya all the equipment probably semua sekolah sudah ada lah untuk robotics.
Hopefully kita harapkan begitulah. Tapi kita faham sekolah kita is a bit limited. So we try to help where we can. Mana yang kita boleh penetrate lah. Tapi so far the one that I know of memang sekolah-sekolah sekitar KK lah, Pantai Barat, KK, Open Ampang memang memang dah ada penetration lah, dah ada ni access lah. Sorry Luqman, am I breaking up or is it your line? So for instance, since last year we've been partnering with untuk sekolah rendah, kami dah partner dengan Cytron, which is an electronic company di Malaysia, to bring this robot kit to sekolah rendah, where they have a pertandingan. The schools can buy these robots. Is mampu milik lah, harga tak terlalu mahal. Okay, so this is a robot that is made in Penang. So okay, sorry. So it's made in Penang and we did a competition. We are the representative here in Sabah, where sekolah-sekolah yang berjaya dalam pertandingan tu dipilihan di Sabah. If they manage to get good points, selected in Sabah, they can go to the national tournament lah di Semenanjung. So ini adalah Rero Macro, one of the program lah that we do. So ini we focus on sekolah rendah, okay. Ini salah satu contoh lah robot. So I have a few more, Arduino based or not, but just show you around. Okay, so just to show you two of the smart space. Okay, so sekolah rendah dan sekolah menengah tadi, robot. So we have also, if you can see, sorry, these boxes behind me, ada 20 unit. So KC has been partnered with Cytron also. Okay, Cytron telah hantar robot, 20 robot untuk Sabah, supaya kita boleh buat pengenalan aktiviti robotik kepada sekolah-sekolah di Sabah lah. Okay, and then KC juga 2 tahun lepas, unfortunately I can't show you, I don't think I have any. Oh yeah, kita pernah buat kelas bersama dengan US Embassy untuk mengajar di UMS buat drone. Okay, so we had a class, drone class with UMS. This one is by US Embassy, funded by US Embassy for UMS students. Okay, kita bawa DIY untuk ajar teknologi drone. Then kita juga, I think in Malaysia, if you heard about Amazon Deep Racer before, if you are using Amazon, you know, are you familiar with Amazon? Okay, Amazon ada satu pertandingan dipanggil Deep Racer, where they are using deep learning, artificial intelligence, basically to promote artificial intelligence and of course their own cloud platform. If you Google it, Deep Racer. So Casey, back in Robonet 2018, looking at the way where AI is now being talked about. So we host the first ever donkey car. If you can check it out. We host the first ever donkey car artificial intelligence race here in Sabah, in Karamunsing. Okay, this is back in 2018, and we are going to promote donkey car furthermore this year. Okay, because donkey car teaches about not just programming, also AI, you know, deep learning, where you have to do your own data set, your training and whatnot with computer vision. Tapi yang cantiknya about Donkey Car, and I mean Amazon Deep Racer is a big event. Donkey Car is the smaller platform. It uses Python, uses Raspberry Pi, uses TensorFlow, and uses normal RC car yang harga beberapa ratus saja, made in China. So we can put a brain on top of the RC car, and voila, we have an AI self-driving car platform. You know, like our guys, you know, our people here can have the exposure lah. Unfortunately, I don't have a unit right now. So if ever you need, I can show you. But you can check out the donkeycar.com. Okay, so we brought that, and I think we are the first in Malaysia. Walaupun tak ramai, ketika tu kita ada 5. It was subsidized, heavily subsidized by the government. We managed only to get 5 teams that time to kickstart lah, back in 2018. And in 2019, we've been all our exhibition, whatnot, we bring the donkey car lah. Donkey car. So if you can see the website, yeah, donkey car. And we're planning to bring more donkey car events here in Sabah, because I think even in Malaysia, because we can do virtual runs, and it really teaches you AI, artificial intelligence related technologies lah, such as deep learning. Okay, deep learning, convolutional neural networks, even using TensorFlow, you know. So it's the best. What I can say is the best type of robotics where it's cheap enough and it uses Raspberry Pi DIY tools to put a brain on top of a mechanical thing, you know. Yeah, and then we have a few more, but you can check us. I think you can check out our Facebook page, the Robotics Sabah, which is by Casey as well. Okay, so in terms of STEM, I'm quite to say proud, because the trajectory in terms of STEM that I can see based on Robonio, in year 1 in 2014 when we started, ada 32 participants for the, but in 2018 kemuncak dia masa 5 tahun.
So sekarang ni ada banyak sangat.
Kita ada dekat 400-500 student across Sabah yang dah tahu robotik, and the type of question that the students and the teachers and the participants also join pun dah berubah. Masa 2014 bila kita ajar Arduino, at least Arduino programming, at that time people don't even know what's a variable, why do we need to cast, you know, the integer to, I mean all this programming basically. Jump forward to 2018, 2019, orang dah tak tanya soalan tu. Artinya our students are now tahu sudah. So they want to ask what is the theory about PID. PID means in robotics proportional inversion, and PID lah for turning the radius of the robot, and more technical. So I can this one I get the input from Semenanjung. Some of the teachers that I know from Semenanjung, they were quite impressed when they fly into Sabah. They saw what Sabah kids can do, which is on par with the national level. You know, when we have a tournament, especially in the category of robot sumo, where 2 robots are fighting autonomously, we started early. And then with line tracing competition, where robots can do line tracing. So Sabah punya robots memang not bad, among the, boleh cakap top lah dalam Malaysia lah. And in fact, we also managed to expose our student, because we always say that if you join the robotics event here in Sabah, there's only once a year. So please go out, you know, and search for better tournaments and whatnot lah. So that's what happened lah. Kita nak jadi anjakan, you know, a stepping stone. That's I'm a bit proud lah to say lah. After 5 years, I can see the STEM education grow lah in terms of number. I even have the data. I even have all the data from the participants from last time lah. Yeah. In fact, we even have a case where participants you know, like menceburi bidang robotik dia yang lebih tinggi lah, in STEM lah, yeah. And IoT and what.
Okay, saya harap lepas ni mungkin lagi ada banyak lagi anak muda akan ceburi dalam bidang robotik, terutama yang berada di Sabah. And okay, sekarang kita ada satu question. We have one question for our guest, for our viewers. So the question is from Cheston Petrus. So how is IR 4.0 in Sabah?
Okay, IR 4.0.
So, if we look at kita tahu kan IR 4.0 sekarang ni
diperkatakan lah. I think we are slowly adapting to it from the industry punya perspective. Daripada we're slowly getting there, but we need to do more lah to improvise. So for Casey, for us, I've seen this because I'm part of the industry, and I've seen this. I'm trying to contribute back to the industry to like not just at the education lah. For the first 5 years of the KCP inception, yes, we target the student first. Itu matlamat kami masa the first 5 years, we don't know what to do. We just okay lah, kita tolong golongan pelajar dahulu. But insyaAllah for the next 5 years, kita nak tolong industry to adapt more. So we will be working, KC will be working together with the Sabah Creative Economic Innovation Hub by Madam Vivianti, the PGM. We'll be working together with the state government as well to penetrate. Now it's time to penetrate our masses lah, because kita rasa bahagian education kita dah banyak membantu, and our kids are okay now. It's just a matter of funding to get more robots, like you say lah. Your problem is like robot mahal or not. Tapi dari segi knowledge, I don't think we are that far behind. Our kids are okay. I'm not saying that we're great, but we are okay compared to a lot of other places in Malaysia that I know we are doing fine, and that's the input and feedback that I got from our friends in Semenanjung and Sarawak. Okay, but now is time to penetrate. So how is IR 4.0 Sabah? We are slowly adapting, but we should do more. Okay, we should increase more lah, because a lot of our like for example, when COVID hit us, when we have to close down the economy, a lot of our business have to suffer lah. Okay, tapi slowly our people now realize that we have to adapt. Like all this session, you can see video calls are popping up. People are talking about Zoom, makcik, nenek, mak ngah, mak long semua pun cerita pasal Zoom call lah, and Google Classroom, okay, and then virtual events are here, and then people realize that we can do a lot more with technology. I think apa orang bilang rahmat lah dalam itu, whatever bencana yang menimpa kita tu, ada satu rahmat lah di mana kita pun belajar bahawa teknologi should be adapt and very fast lah. Yeah.
Okay. So macam contohlah saya sekarang more into web development programming field. So like we know in this field they have plenty of language is used to do web application, for example Ruby, PHP or React.js or something related language. So I want to know about robotics kan. So ada specific language yang perlu dikuasai dalam bidang robotics ni? Like yang saya tahu sekarang ni Python is quite important lah untuk learn robotics. So how?
Okay, it depends on which area. Macam sama juga macam web development, you have front end, back end, your designer, UI, UX. So different tools for the different jobs lah. Alright? Okay, different tools for different jobs. So in robotics also dia ada. Di manakah bidang robotik yang anda nak pursue lah. So for instance, if you're doing chip design, well, there are their own embedded languages. Tapi usually a basic in C or C++ is good enough. If you have a very good solid basic of C and C++, most probably you jump into the VHDL ke apa ke other languages yang bina robotik tu tak susah lah orang bilang. So there is a good foundation if you know a bit C or C++. Even if you're programming Arduino itself, you can leverage the language structure is basically macam C or JavaScript. So you learn all these things, the same constructs will be there. Okay, maybe dia punya framework and methodology tak sama, tapi the syntax lebih kurang je. Okay, if you know what doing. And then for Python is a very close one lah. For Kinabalu Coders, we are now focusing more on Python as an entrant beginner language. Sebab apa? Python is a language that is being used everywhere. If you're doing web development, there's Plus and then Django. Okay, if you're doing web development, and then if you're doing maker stuff, contohnya Raspberry Pi, you nak hubungkan, if you want to code your sensors, there's Python. Even embedded chips like Arduino pun kita dah boleh buat micro Python. I mean, it compiles down to C or whatnot for that platform, tapi Python tu dah menjadi satu bahasa umpama Latin or umpama English lah. Okay, I know it's a bit. I mean, I'm from the software industry as well, and I know programming languages discussion is banyak choice. Tapi kalau dalam tu kita fokus satu, you can say that Python is like the AK-47 of the game lah. You learn that game. You main apa the game? Ada satu kan, AK-47 or M16. Yeah. So if you join an army usually has a standard rifle that semua orang boleh belajar. Jadi KC kita fokus dengan Python. Python ada a special spot in our heart lah in KC. And then Python also is now being used in robotic operating system. So there's this software called ROS. It's an operating system for robotics. If you're coming from the software or from the web development, it's basically PubSub lah, publish and subscribe punya platform, and it uses Python lah, a lot of Python. So the thing about robotic OS is now in like 40-50% of the robots in the whole world lah. So dia punya controllers, dia punya the nodes, the programming, you can use Python to control the ROS lah. So that's why we are not saying that Python is the only language, tapi since for KC at least, lebih senang nak ajar orang dengan Python lah. After that, please choose whatever language is because I think the fundamentals is basically the same lah. Fundamentals is more important lah. Okay, so that's
So macam contoh kalau kita mau belajar like robotics punya language like Python, so basically kita just boleh like go YouTubing or search in Google kan. Tapi macam
Yup.
for the certain people, dorang lagi suka like belajar berguru face to face. So in Sabah lah terutamanya, are there any class or that teach adults or even children regarding that robotics? Mungkin Casey sendiri ada buat
Yeah,
kelas.
for children's, I think there are a few centers. Yeah, I'm not promoting. I'm just saying that they're my friend. Okay. Then for instance, in Tawau, there's our friend there. They're using. I think the COVID. Sorry, no. Kowe Studio or something. I'll post later. We have friends. They're doing Arduino, and here in KK, I think Polytechnic has classes from time to time for adults. Polytechnic Kota Kinabalu, dia ada hostkan classes from there. KC itself, we're open. Sometimes we're free. We have not yet a structured courses on this. We're planning to roll out more courses, more online session, more dedicated session for robotics. But we're just in the planning stage lah. Because usually we do community work. People come to us, we train on the spot. Okay, what do you want to learn? What are we free today? We impart the knowledge. I just tell you a story. When we teach SK Anglo-Chinese teachers on a one weekend for them to implement their own Internet of Things back in their school. So they have this small mushroom laboratory. They grow mushroom, cendawan. So they need a controller untuk test. It's not really a robotics, but it's Internet of Things. They not automatically adjust the humidity. So they learn a bit of Arduino and on a petang Saturday here in the smart space, and they go back, they implement their own solution. So that's how KC does all these things. Although now we are planning to move into the classes. Yeah, but because we are so easy to reach out, so that's why we don't really have any structure. I think I'm not so sure about UMS, but there are a few training centers doing the robotic here for children, school children usually. But I forgot the name lah. Maybe later you guys can, if you really want that information, can ping me. I just copy paste the links.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's good information. So, Ed, we have several questions from our audience. So, the first question is from Fazili dan Fender, which is what is benefit can we get by studying robotics right now?
Okay, so for me, robotics teaches you automation, one, technology, and of course the benefit is you learn robotics automatically. You learn programming. You see, it's like kill two birds with one stone. You learn hardware and you learn software at the same time. Plus, this is my experience. Teaching somebody programming is not that easy unless you really have the passion. You really see the programs in your head like you lah, Lokman. You see, before you do, you discuss. You already can imagine the code because not all of us think that way lah. Okay, but with robotics tends to give you feedback. What you program will be reflected in your robot. That's how it gets the attention of the student, of the learner for robotics. So that's what I see the when people do and people tinker. It might be a simple, moving an arm or rotating a servo or reading sensors and whatnot. But if you can see, it's kind of like if you can debug physically your program, it makes the things more interesting. Okay, and then robotics also help you in automating. It can help you in automating a lot of stuff for your business, for your life, and so on. So there was a story in Indonesia. I don't have it was on YouTube. Some kid, he learned robotic a little bit about robotic principle. Or some kid, he learned about the robotic arm to help automate a task for his mother. His mother is just menjual dia jual penjajah. Jadi itu robot dia bina untuk scoopkan, I think a soup or something to scoop for the mother. Okay, itu salah satu contoh yang budak Indonesia tu tak ada formal education. I think dia sekolah rendah, sekolah menengah. They learn a little bit and dia boleh bina satu we call it robot lah, automation untuk membantu kehidupan ibu dia. Seorang penjajah je, penjual ni lah, jual makanan lah tepi jalan ya, di gerai. Okay, so that is one lah. When we want people to learn more, and then of course, the best thing is this is like programming. Coming back, programming or robotics lah. Okay, when I said about programming, it's also programming the robotics. You are like a Harry Potter. Your program, yeah,
What is
you're basically Harry Potter. You know, like you can, your programming language will be your spell. The spell will be your programming language, and the robot itself will be the golem, the orc that you summon and ask them to move. You know, that you feel like you're yourself a magician lah in this world. Feels pretty cool lah. It brings like
Okay, we get another question. So for our next question is from Anderson Lau. As far as I know, well-known robotics hardware like Arduino are hardly available. May I know the alternative robotics hardware that are easy to learn and cheap?
Actually, Arduino is quite easily available. If you're in KK, I can show you. There's a shop in KK Plaza, Einstronic in tingkat 2, dia ada jual Arduino. If you're looking for Arduino, you can ping us, and we have plenty actually now these days. And of course, you need to know where to find first lah. Alternative robotics hardware, I will start. I'll suggest you guys to start with learning a bit of two with Arduino first. Then you move on to the better. But if you really want to learn about robotics, you can find this one. I think this is a good entry level robot. It uses scratch programming, block programming. It's block programming. Okay, so this program, and it has all the sensors that is needed, and locomotion. Locomotion means dia boleh bergerak dengan tayar lah. Okay, it has the sensors, the sonar sensor, the LED sensors, and it even is using microbit robot. Microbit is a very cheap otak lah. The brain itself is very easily covered, and you don't have to have special software. You just go to the website and drag and drop the file. You know, there's an online editor for this, the online IDE by Microsoft, and then you just drag and drop and copy paste inside via USB to your computer lah. So you can search for Rero Micro. Same price across Malaysia. You can contact us. So this is a very good alternative if you starting out robotics. You want to learn what's robotic, and the good thing is it comes with a book inside. Got 10 chapter to teach you the basics of robotics lah. The knowledge. So I really, I'm not just promoting because it's I'm also promoting because it's cheap, available, and it's quite good lah for beginners lah. Yeah, apart from robotics.
Okay, so for the viewers or for the audience, so maybe after this we will share all the resources that already mentioned by Ed. And so there's another question from audience. So the question goes to Haril Amri.
What's choose Masha when you pick Alucard?
Okay, maybe it's not the real question.
Is that so Mobile Legend? What is it?
Yeah, it's a Mobile Legend. It's Mobile Legend. Oh my god.
Sorry, I don't.
Mobile Legend is not robotics, bro. Sorry. Okay, so the next question. Hi, Edham. In your opinion, which sector specifically in Sabah that robotics can be useful towards IR 4.0? This question is from Adeli Lidin.
Okay, Adeli. Okay, so the biggest one that we can do right now, right away, that has many applications will be agriculture. Agriculture and aquaculture lah, kalau if you want, because in agriculture we need lots of automation. Our pertanian Sabah secara amnya masih di dalam industri yang before 4.0 lah. Okay, secara am there are some highly automated, but I see because I see a lot of missing automation, missing robotics in agriculture because it's the biggest sector lah. And then of course a lot of our manufacturing still need to go because I think we have lots of factories, but our factories are still really not there yet. They are trying to adapt, but we don't have the people here, the talent here, not enough in KK. Okay, so this is the real story. Some feedback from the industry is where they want to buy a robot for the kilang, but they're afraid to maintain it. You know, maintenance is not easy. You need to get an engineer from Seberang, from KL or Penang or somewhere, fly them to fix. Sometimes those things can be, if somebody here is already an expert, they can, no need to call for us. So there's that fear for businesses. So I would say the first one will be agriculture, and then agriculture and aquaculture as well. And second will be our manufacturing, definitely, because manufacturing we cannot run away. You need robotics to move forward. As our skilled labors, increases, and our menial labor and our import labor also becoming kurang and kurang. So that will be my answer. Any question? Wah, banyak soalan dah.
This is the last question for today.
Okay.
So this is from Vera Ruth. What are the efforts then can be carried out in order to further the support the robotics enthusiasts and youngest generation in robotics field? For example, there are those who are interested but cannot find a platform to start. So any suggestion from you?
Okay, so I'll just answer based on my perspective. Answer. I cannot answer for the entire industry, but based on my perspective, the way I see it, we need to get younger generation to be excited. We need success story. So for us in KC, that's why we built Robonio. We want, even though it's once a year, we want to inspire more people so that they understand that there's this technology and there are people like us that you can reach out and help. Okay, and help. But of course, as we move into the future, we need more and more people who are enthusiasts in this field lah. So the interesting will be things that can combine gamification with robotics. For instance, my minat, for myself, my experience is because back then I really love to watch robot combat. Okay, I really like to watch BattleBots back in the 90s. Okay, back in the late 90s when I grew up. But that time robotic was a bit far-fetched lah. Sangat susah untuk students or for even public. But then fast forward to 2008, 2010, the new decade, where cheap electronics from China and whatnot lah. So yeah, we will try. How to get is we need more schools and more what lah. Okay, more school to what lah. All right.
Hi, Ed. Sorry, Lookman had to drop off. We're still here.
Okay.
Okay. So great. That's awesome. Thank you for your feedback on that. Really appreciate it. It looks like we're running out of time today. So thank you for spending the afternoon with us and telling us about Kinabalu Coders and all of the robotics initiatives in Sabah. Really exciting stuff. And definitely something you don't hear about every day. So that's great.
Yeah.
For the rest of our audience, thank you all for tuning in this week. Make sure to definitely tune in next week on 11th of June. We'll have a webinar on digital innovation in Sabah. So I'm definitely touching on some stuff we talked about today and stuff we talked about in our previous webinars. So definitely don't miss out on that one. That'll be really exciting. And that kind of wraps up everything that we have today. Like Lookman said, we'll go ahead and share all of the resources that Ed mentioned today. Go ahead and check out rambutan.academy. Our blog is there, and we'll go ahead and post those resources from Ed in our blog. So make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get notifications of our next webinar or workshops. And yeah, we hope to see you guys soon. Thank you again, Ed. Really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Hi.